Hello, I'm Vince from We're Airstream in Chandler, Arizona, and today I'm going to briefly walk you through this 2026 Stetson Airstream. We'll start up front. You have your electric jack with your buttons with a light here. Obviously, your coupler that goes onto the trailer ball. You have emergency brake controller here. You also have 7-way plug. This will plug into your tow vehicle. Once this is plugged in, it charges your batteries, it runs your trailer lights, and your trailer brakes. If for some reason you had a failure on the motor, you can turn this level, and then it comes out, and there's a tool that Airstream provides that goes in here, so you can manually lower and raise the trailer. Then on this side, we have an auxiliary plug right here for solar, external solar. And then you have a spare tire, full-size spare tire underneath here. You have a pin, you pull this pin out, pull this other pin out, and that bar just comes down and you pull the spare tire out. And then on this side, you have external propane hose. So if you wanted to use your propane from the trailer and your propane tanks, you can get yourself an external low flow hose and plug it in, and then you can run your propane. Your propane tanks would be in here. They do come with your Airstream trailer. You have a regulator. Once Airstream tanks are in, you can dial to whichever tank you want to put it on. And this will be either red or green. Green when your tanks are full, and red when they start to run out. You have some storage in here, and then your batteries for your Airstream are in here. You have the front window here that can open, and when you open this, this just comes up, and then you will lock this into place. You would open the window. You do have 2 screws on either side. If you turn those a half a turn, it releases them, and you have this particular window cover is on a hinge and will come out, and then you can clean behind here or clean the glass window. Then you put it back and then tighten those. Then as we come around to the driver's side, street side of the trailer, you have your recommended tire pressures and weights here. You also have electric stabilizer jacks on this trailer, but if you needed to override them, you have a tool that you can manually bring them up and down if you had to do that manually. You've got your storage container for your sewer hose right there. And then as we come down below here, you have a light. And then you have 2 handles, a black handle and a gray handle. That's your black tank, that's your gray tank. So for emptying, remember the black tank is just your toilet, and then everything else, sinks, showers, are the gray. Come off the gray tank. And then above here you have outside shower. Airstream provides a shower hose with a sprayer. You would just connect. You have hot and cold here. You have your freshwater fill. So you have a freshwater tank. So if you're boondocking or traveling and you want water on board, you would fill there. If you're at an RV park and you want to be hooked up to city water, you would hook up a potable water hose, and then you have onboard water. This does have a built-in regulator, and then you have your black tank flush. So you'd have a different hose, not your potable water hose, but you'd get a black tank flush hose, hook that up, turn it on. You do want to watch inside as you're filling up your black tank so you don't overfill it, because that could be a mess. But you do want to watch that because you have sprayers in your black tank that are going to spray that down. You have data ports here. So you have a cable connection or a data port if you had Starlink. And then you have this comes with a 50 amp electrical cord because you have 2 air conditioners. All you do is you squeeze this, and this comes right off. This just tells us we're plugged into electrical. This is your cord when you purchase the Airstream. And then you have a little dust cover that goes on like that. And then you just squeeze and push that back in. You're connected. And then this dust cover just goes up underneath into here, like so. And then as we come over here, you have, this is your, just an access panel for your furnace. You don't need to get in there, but if you had some work done. And then you have an outside awning shade. This is manual, and it's just for shade. You just pull this out, the shade will come down, and then it hooks onto here. And it's just for these side windows. As we move around to the back, you have more storage in the back bumper. Again, this is, it's not lockable for securing stuff. So you wouldn't want to put something of too much value in there, but usually people put their different utility wands and stuff. This, you just lift up and it comes down, and then it does snap into place. On the Stetson, it comes with the rear hatch. So with the rear hatch, you do have a screen. The one thing you want to make sure is you don't have the screen down when you close the hatch, because this will damage the screen. So you always want your screen to be up when you go and close the hatch. And when you do close the hatch, you always want to make sure these pegs are all the way in versus out. That's when it's locked. Because if these got out accidentally and you close this, you're going to do some damage. So you always want to make sure those are in, and then when you actually lock it, you would turn once and then turn it again, and this will secure and lock in. And then you can lock it with a key here as well. So you do have a backup camera, and you have a monitor. So when you purchase your Airstream, we will help you hook up the monitor so you have that in your tow vehicle. And then you have another awning here. It comes down, and these just loop around and lock into place here on both sides. And then to take them out, you just pull this down, and they both will just latch in to the wing nut. And then this goes back up. And as we move around the other side, we have the Airstream steps. And here they're just going to be 90 degrees. And then you're going to roll, roll, roll. You're just going to roll this in. And then it's going to come up and stowed away for travel. To bring it out, you don't want to stand here. You want to just release it so it comes down, locks into place. And then you just remember, roll, roll. You're going to roll this out and just keep rolling it. And your steps are activated. And then we have the screen on the Stetson. And then you have your front door. Airstream does recommend that when you're closing the door, that you don't slam it with the screen in there, that you attach the screen and then close the door. That's because you have, these two items are plastic. It's the only plastic on the door. And by slamming it, you're hoping that it's going to connect every time. So, and with the door, you have your door handle, and then you have two locks. You have a deadbolt lock here, and you have a door lock here. So it is recommended that you maybe paint this red fingernail polish, red paint, only because if it's activated out and you were to close the door, it would bend and make marks. And so if you're not used to having it out and you have grandkids or children and they're playing with this and they leave it out and you don't notice it, again, if it's red, you're going to see it. So then you have two buttons for your stabilizer jacks. One button brings the back jacks down at the same time. The front one brings the front jacks down at the same time. And they're just stabilizers. They're not actual leveling jacks. Over here you have 110 outlet for outside electricity. And then this is just an access panel for your water heater. There's nothing you need to do. And then we have your electric awning. And that is activated from a control panel inside the trailer. So you have your zip T awning shade. So you have an on-off button. When you turn the button on, it turns everything on. When the button's off, it actually locks it so it doesn't come out. So once it's on, you have an open, close, tilt front, tilt rear. So you just hit the open button and the shade will activate and come out. As that's coming out, you also have an awning light strip that is controlled from this control panel. And you can turn that on or off. You can also dim those lights. So one safety feature is you can see how long that took to come out. If you're going to leave your Airstream unoccupied and go away, you always want to bring your awning in because you can see how long it took to come out. It's going to take that long to go in. It does have a wind sensor, but the wind has to be blowing pretty hard, and by that time it could be catastrophic and damage your awning. The awning also tilts to the front, tilts to the rear, and then once it's tilted, if you want to bring it in, you just hit the close button and it'll auto tilt back and then come in. So we'll now go inside and cover some of the features on the inside of the Stetson. So as we come in, we have interior lights, and what's really nice, the Stetson has a new type of light switch with dimmers. You can touch it and you can see where you're dimming at. You have outside lights here for the steps, and then cabinet lights. And this is your battery disconnect. That's if you're going to go into storage, complete storage, then you'd want to put it in storage, turn your lights off, and then hit your battery disconnect, and that will shut all the power down to your trailer, that not allowing any parasitic draw. And as we come in here, you have storage. You have a spot for your hats, but if you really don't want those and you want to use this for other storage, you can remove those. You also have the newest stereo. In this particular Stetson, you have on-off, and of course it's Bluetooth, and it can be paired up. You have some ports there for auxiliary plugs. You also have a little black box, and there's a little green light, and there's a button. And if you push that button, you can turn it off and turn it on. By turning it on, it's an antenna booster for your TVs. And then you have a table here. Underneath, you have a control arm. You pull that out, and the table comes down and makes into a bed. As we move around, you have a rain sensing fan. So you have an on-off button. You hit that, it automatically opens and turns on. It will suck the air in the trailer out. You can turn the fan off and just have the top open, or you can have the fan speed go up or down. It's not suggested that you drive with the fan cover up. You could end up damaging it. And then to close it, you just push the button and it'll automatically close. You have more storage over here. You have, in this particular trailer, you have two TVs. This one in the living room area swivels. You push this down and it will come away from the wall, and it can swivel out. And when you're traveling, you always want to lock the TV in place. You also have two controllers in this trailer since you have two air conditioners. This controller controls your air conditioning. You can have a fan going where you have just bringing in fresh air through the vents. You also have a heat pump, or a heat pump and a heater, furnace, or just the furnace. Furnace runs off propane, everything else runs off electricity. You also have one of these in the bedroom. Same type of controller. It does everything but your furnace. Your furnace will run off of this controller here. You have 12-volt all-electric refrigerator, freezer, and refrigerator, and you can adjust that up here. On-off switch, and you'll see here you have a mini refrigerator with a little white on the top and a white on the bottom. That's showing you the white is the freezer that's the white on the bottom is for the fridge. So you can regulate the temperature 1 through 5. 5 is the coldest, so you can have your freezer whatever temperature you want, and the same with the refrigerator. You have 2 vents up here. They're intakes for your 2 air conditioners. There's 4 screws. You can take those out and just wash out the foam that's inside here. Then on this side, you have your control panel. This tells you where your batteries are at, if they're fully charged or not. It tells you if you're fresh tank, how much water in gallons you have. Then you have gray tank and black tank, so it'll tell you where you're at. Again, these are in gallons. You have a little button here for your water pump that you can turn on. Then you have an inverter. If you're boondocking, not using shore power, you can monitor the power that's coming in. And then this is for your solar. This tells you what you're drawing with solar. We have the red range vent hood. You have a light and you have a fan here. You have 3 cooktop burners. You have lights for the 3. So these are the 3 burners. That's your igniter. So you would basically just push this in, turn the flame towards the little arrow, and then you would ignite your flame on each one of these. You have a convection oven and air fryer. And then more storage here. You have your breakers and fuses are inside here. These little vents down below are your furnace vents that relate to the furnace. So we come further in here. You have a carbon monoxide detector that's always on. And then you have storage. And the Stetson comes with a lot of accessories, as you can see, sheets and carpet runners and pillows and whatnot. Then you have a separate shower. In the shower, you have a vent. You just push that up, and there's a black button you push. That will turn it on. And then you can pull that down. And for traveling, they recommend it's brought down. You always want to lock this, too, when you're traveling. And then as we come in the bathroom has, obviously, a light switch. You have another vent. You also have a medicine cabinet in here that you can open. You have a porcelain toilet, and there's a pump on the right side, and as you push it down, water will fill up in the bowl. And then your toilet paper hanger is right here for your toilet paper. And then you have the newest, that's for your water heater controller. And you just tap that on, and you can set the desired temperature that you want. It starts flashing. Once it stops, it'll start heating. It's on demand. And as we come into the bedroom, again, the Stetson comes with comforters and bedspread and all kinds of decorative pillows. You have reading lights in the back. You have side lights. You have interior roof lights. These just have light switches that you can turn on and off. You can also, when it comes to the bed, there's some storage underneath it. You just lift that up. And then you have another TV here. Pull cord, you pull that down. Again, this one releases from the wall. As the other TV, you want to lock that in place for travel. There's your other AC controller. Another light switch. If you hit that, the lights go out. You can dim them as well. There's your other return. One thing to note, if you turn on your air conditioner or fan or heat pump and you just use one air conditioner from one controller, you're going to get air in the entire Airstream trailer. If you want max, then you would turn both of them on. So by turning one controller on doesn't mean you're just limiting space in the trailer to just one area that's going to get air conditioning or heat or heat pump or fan. It's going to go throughout the coach. So that's one nice feature because this is all ducted. And then as we move back towards the front, you can see this layout is slightly different than a normal 27-foot, but gives you lots of storage. So that concludes the brief walkthrough on this 2026 Stetson. If you have any other questions or interest in any other products, please visit us at We're Airstream, Chandler, Arizona.